The Big Ten screwed up the outset of its 2020 college football season. Has it screwed up the conclusion? MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, breaking down the game we all love each and every day. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. That's our mission. That's our goal. We aim to achieve it every day. We are here talking college football with you every day, so please subscribe. Hit that bell for the notifications. That way you know when we're going live. And also keep into consideration that your sphere of influence on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, people out there don't know we're here, so please share the videos as well and smash that like button. All right, we are here to present a very possible or probable scenario in the Big Ten in determining who makes the conference championship game to see if this actually makes sense to you. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't believe that the conference, much like at the start of the season in which they released a revised Big Ten schedule the first week of August and then 3 to 4 days retracted it and canceled the season and would not take that decision back, which of course they did. And then they boxed themselves into the situation in which they have teams like Ohio State, the prohibitive favorite in the conference, having to make sure that it plays its final 2 games to most likely reach the college football playoff. The Big Ten has boxed itself in and is not looking good in the original decisions that it made and then not thinking through what could possibly happen. So let's play out this scenario with me here. So the conference has announced from the outset of this revised schedule that a team must play at least 6 conference games to qualify for the Big Ten championship game, unless the number of games played by the rest of the conference averaged out to less than 6, and then that would be averaged out and rounded to a whole number that was the closest to that integer. It's much like of what's going on in the ACC and trying to determine if teams can qualify for the ACC championship game. Right now, Miami's in question. Same thing going on here, that you have a minimum number of games, 6, to qualify for the Big Ten championship game, unless a bunch of other teams are missing games, and that brings down the average number of conference games played by the rest of the conference, and then that 6-game requirement is minimized to 5. That's basically what it's stating. Okay, right now, there have been only 6 games canceled in the Big Ten. There would need to be 18 canceled over the course of the entire season to drop that integer, that average number of games qualified, to 5. So there would have to be 12 cancellations in the last 2 weeks of the season. So most likely that's not going to happen. And if it happens, then we may have bigger problems than getting Ohio State to a Big Ten championship game or getting the fair team, the team that has earned it and should be rewarded with the Big Ten championship game appearance. Let's get those teams to Indianapolis. Okay, play out the scenario with me. Indiana's not missed a game. If they don't miss a game the last 2 games of the season, then they will finish 7-1 if they win those games, of course. They could finish 7-1 and be the Big Ten Eastern Division champion if Ohio State cannot make up its games and miss that 6-game requirement and, let's say, finish with a 5-0 record. So if you've got a 7-1 team versus a 5-0 team and you're trying to determine who should qualify for the Big Ten championship game, that's an argument. To a certain extent, I understand it. Even though the 5-0 team defeated the 7-1 team, they played the 7-1 team a full schedule while the other team missed 3 games, which is substantial, regardless of the opponents, which would be the likes of Maryland and Illinois, possibly Michigan State and or Michigan. Teams that we believe Ohio State would beat, but we can't assume that. We need to be objective here. Okay, so I understand that there could be an argument made on either side, even though I would tend to favor the 5-0 team that beat the 7-1 team. Let's play it out this way. What if Indiana misses its final 2 games? We're hearing news come out every day about a particular team that's disqualified from playing its game for that weekend. So let's say that happens to the Hoosiers, and they cannot play their final 2 games. So they would finish the conference season at 5-1. Let's say Ohio State can't play and they finish at 5-0. Let's say they even play one more game. Indiana goes 5-1. Ohio State goes 5-0. Based on these stipulations right here laid out by the Big Ten, guess which team goes to the championship game? The 5-1 team that lost to the 5-0 team. Now, if that makes no sense, raise your hand, because it makes no sense. Because all the 5-0 team would have to say is, you know what? One of those 3 games that we missed, we forfeit. We voluntarily forfeit that game and just make us 5-1, and then we win the head-to-head against Indiana and send us to the Big Ten championship game, right? That's what Ohio State should do. Now, it's my understanding, and I've looked this up and researched, and I can't necessarily confirm this, but teams in the Big Ten this season are not allowed to forfeit games. Those games that Wisconsin missed early on set the precedent in regards to how those games would be ruled as no contests. It's neither a win or a loss for either team, but Ohio State should beg and plead and say, give us a loss. Just give us a loss so we've got the 6th game played. Even if it defaults, it's much like the batting championship in Major League Baseball. If you need 400 plate appearances to qualify for a batting championship, and let's say you hit 350 and I only hit 300, but you had 10 less at-bats than required to win the batting championship, should I win the batting championship? No, because it's impossible for you not to win the batting championship. Have the league give you an 0 for 10 in plate appearances. That's what's done in Major League Baseball, if you follow me there, because it's impossible for you not to win the batting championship. So even if you went hitless in the number of required at-bats that you need to win the batting championship, you still can't lose it. So why penalize that person or that team? Ohio State could lose that 6th game and they still go to the Big Ten championship. So why penalize them for a game that's not played, that even if they lost, they would still qualify for the Big Ten championship game? The Big Ten did not think this through. They could have a scenario that looks like this. Indiana goes to the Big Ten championship game at 5-1. Ohio State goes and plays as a 2 seed. I guess they're a 2 seed. I don't know how they're going to seed the teams with an unequal number of games, but they're actually the 1 seed, but they would be the 2 seed because they don't qualify. Ohio State's the 2 seed. They would play Wisconsin, the 2 seed, most likely coming out of the Big Ten Western Division. So you have a team with the best record in the conference that even if you gave them a forfeit, still has the best record in the conference, and they beat the team that goes to the Big Ten championship game. You're sending them, they're healthy enough to play. They meet the guidelines and stipulations that particular weekend, championship weekend, and they're going to go play another team when they could just go play the championship game. Does this make any sense to anyone? It's crazy. It makes no sense. Leave your comments below. The Big Ten is screwed up. And if somebody can in any way defend the Big Ten or make sense of its decision in all of this, please let me know. I would love to hear it right here on Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.